Hello everyone. My name is Ibrahim Dogus, and I'm the founder and director of Center for Turkish Studies, CEFTUS. And once again, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our Gala dinner and Community Achievement Awards. This is now our eighth annual awards and dinner. I see one or two faces who were here at the very beginning. Whether you are a CEFTUS veteran or whether this is your very first event, you are very welcome, and I know you will have a great evening tonight. It has been another busy year for CEFTUS. We had brilliant events with Cengiz Çandar, who's here tonight, Barbaros Şansal, Elif Şafak, Ece Temel Kur'an, Yaşar Yakış, Cihangir Islam, and many other prominent figures from Turkey, from Turkish and Kurdish politics. We have continued to provide a platform for discussion and debate amongst those with an interest in Turkey and the wider region. CEFTUS is anchored on a simple idea: to create a non-partisan platform for discussion about the social, political, cultural, and economic future of Turkey, and to promote UK's Turkish, Kurdish, and Turkish Cypriot communities to opinion formers, policymakers, and political leaders. What is special about CEFTUS is that we can bring together commentators, academics, authors, politicians, community leaders from different shades of opinion and different backgrounds. And we can create a space, a platform for the calm exchange of views and sharing of ideas. In the place of bombast, we bring rational discussion. In the place of invective, we bring respectful debate. I like to think we serve as a model for other countries and regions where there are fierce disputes and hotly disputed issues. It is certainly our conviction that nothing is solved by insults and ill-informed commentary. Ignorance leads to disputes, distrust, and distrust leads to conflict. At CEFTUS, we play our part at bringing people together, not driving them apart. Of course, none of this work would be possible without your generous support. We don't receive any funds from any government or any institutions. We raise our own funds, thanks to generous supporters and events such as this, and obviously Kebab Awards too. Thank you for supporting our work. I know you will all want to join me in thanking all the staff of CEFTUS. Thank you for all that you do, our great friends Nail, Ayla, Victoria Sweta, and Ali Aydar. I would like to thank our key sponsors tonight, Just Eat, and congratulate Andrew Kenny and Matt Bushby in their new roles, Cobra Bia, and congratulate Lord Karam Bilimoria in his new role as the president of the CBI, and Alton and Co. As our continuous key supporters for CEFTUS and all other work we do. I would like to mention our charity partner this evening. I am delighted that this year we're sporting Show Racism the Red Card. Show Racism the Red Card is the leading anti-racist charity using the high-profile status of top footballers to educate people, especially young people, about the evils of racism and how to tackle it. Since 1996, they have done fantastic work. But as we have seen from recent events, their work is still needed now more than ever. So we are delighted to be supporting them this evening. Part of this evening event is the Award for Achievement in the community. I won't give the game away by saying who has won, but the awards represent an important moment to recognize the contribution of people from Turkish, Kurdish, and Turkish Cypriot communities from every background to British society. People contributing to the worlds of business, politics, the arts, and local government, working hard to make their community a better place and fighting prejudice and disadvantage. This has been a tough year for all of us in Britain. Brexit has created uncertainty about Britain's place in the world and stirred up dark forces of xenophobia and racism. And on the international stage, our hearts have been broken by the conflict between the Turkish government and its neighbors and on its own citizens. Once again, Amnesty International reports that, quote from Amnesty's report, an ongoing state of emergency set a backdrop for violations of human rights where dissent was ruthlessly suppressed, with journalists, political activists, and human rights defenders amongst those targeted by government forces. I don't think there has been a year in recent decades when Turkey has been in the news so prominently. And yet, we know that Turkey is capable of being so much better than this. Turkey could and should be a powerful economic powerhouse and a paragon of democracy in the region. These things are not impossible to imagine and can happen if there's the good faith and goodwill to make them happen. I said just now that CEFTUS is a non-partisan organization. We don't support one side or another in any political divide. But there are some principles that should unite us all. We should all be concerned when Turkish government forces detain opponents without trial. When journalists, trade unionists, elected representatives and human rights campaigners are rounded up and put in prison. We should all be concerned when Turkish armed forces are engaged in dangerous military adventures inside neighboring countries' borders. We believe in a secular, democratic Turkey with a free press, the rule of law, an independent judiciary, and human rights for all. We believe in equality between all citizens in Turkey, men and women, and protection for religious and minority communities like the Kurds. We believe that Turkey has a pivotal role to play with its neighbors and the wider region. Turkey should be an exemplar of economic growth, political stability, and peaceful coexistence in the region. Instead, as we all know, the opposite is the case, and that is Turkey's tragedy. None of us want a Turkey sliding into internal repression and external aggression. We demand to see the prison gates open for those whose only crime is speaking out against the government. We demand peace talks with the Kurdish people so we can see an end to the decades of conflict. Turkey must withdraw its forces from Syria and start building positive relations with the northern Syrian Democratic Administration. We need a peaceful settlement on Cyprus, one which works for everyone on that beautiful island. And of course, Britain can and should play a role in all of these areas. Pressure on the Turkish government to release political prisoners. Get round the table with the Kurds to resolve the conflict over Cyprus. Britain, for historical reasons, is well placed to use its influence on all these issues. So many Turkish, Kurdish, and Turkish Cypriot people have contributed to the countries where they have settled in the diaspora. Here in the UK, our contribution to the economy is worth billions now. We continue to celebrate the contribution of Turkish, Kurdish, and Turkish Cypriot communities here in the UK. Our story is the story of all immigrant communities. We are the people who travel across oceans and continents to start a new life. We work hard. We strive to succeed. We want to contribute to our local community and to our adopted home. We start by waiting on tables and washing dishes, but soon we build our businesses, create jobs, pay our taxes, and send our kids to college. We now have a Turkish Cypriot member of House of Lords. A Kurdish academic from Cambridge University won the Nobel Prize for mathematics. We are doctors, nurses, teachers, police officers, counselors, entrepreneurs, parents, and citizens. And yes, we drive taxis, buses, we cut hair, and we carve delicious kebabs too. We are not afraid of hard work. And I have really bad news for Daily Mail and anyone else who complains about immigrants. We are here to stay. We're not going anywhere. Finally, friends, we live in turbulent times. Wherever we look, from the USA to the South America, to the EU, to Russia, to the Middle East, to Africa, and to Asia, we see a world in turmoil, a global economy in flux, a political system struggling to cope with the demands of global citizens. I don't know what the future will hold, but I do know that it will require serious people with calm heads. It will need honest, open dialogue. It will need places where we can meet as equals and explore our ideas and our ideals. CEFTUS is one such place, needed now more than ever. So thank you for all your support. And finally, there is one person I'd like to thank above all, and that's my lovely wife, Raife. She's here on this table now. Thank you for your perseverance and support, continuous support. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a great evening. Thank you.